Hello, hello, hello. Thank you for joining me. My name is Rhoda. I am here to welcome a very special guest. Oh my gosh, she's so special to me. To go into details about how special this person is to me, we would never leave this place. Um, Her name is Marie Louise Kofi. I have known her since I was in my teens. So she's here to discuss something very important that I think all of us need to know. Now, one thing that I find really difficult for a lot of people to process is grief. Grief has a way of turning a person's life upside down, literally upside down, where a person begins to think they can't even recognize themselves. They don't even know who they are anymore. And she has experienced one that's very dear to our heart. And she's here to discuss how to process or what to do with sudden grief, meaning when you lose a loved one that you're close to so suddenly. And how do you begin to recognize yourself, let alone try to go through it and find yourself again? And she's here to discuss this with us. Marie, welcome to the
Thank
podcast.
you. Thank you. Hello to your guest, and thank you for having me.
Thank you. Now, one thing for sure that I get very excited about is your wisdom, your understanding of how you process life and everything that comes to you. I have watched you navigate so many things, and honestly, the way you've handled this, I feel it needs to be shared. And for that, I want you to explain how it's not like you're an expert. You're not an expert on grief. Nobody's an expert on grief. But how this hit you and the surprise it took you. And of course, it's not something that is planned. Other type of griefs, yeah, they said the person is going to go. So you prepare yourself,
Mhm.
but there was no preparation.
Yeah.
How
Yes.
did this come about? At least you found out.
Well, so let me start from 2017. Um, my mother, who has been on several stages in the world, like she's spoken all around the world.
Mm-hmm.
She was retired and um, was home most of the time. Wasn't doing anything with her time.
Mm-hmm.
Just stuck at home, and most of us are away. So she really didn't have anyone to talk to and stuff like that. That got her depressed, and she got a stroke,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the first scare. So, in my mind, little mind of mine, the way to deal with this is to make sure that my mom will always need all the resource that she needs, and not just financially, but also, even if she wants to talk to somebody. So I told her, well, I don't care how many times she called me
Mm-hmm.
in a day, you know, you call me. If you want to talk about anything, it doesn't matter. The house flight went across the gate. You want to talk about that? Give me a call.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. So here I am from 2017 through 2021 September.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, Actually, it was earlier than September of that year,
Mm-hmm.
2021.
Mm-hmm.
My phone rings at least 7 times a day from my mom.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Talk about stuff, anything that comes to mind. And it kept her alive. She was always happy.
Yes.
Earlier that year, I'll say around August, she said, because she became she got the stroke. She has diabetes and all that. We try to kind of keep our hands on her. We don't want her to go anywhere. We say, hey, we want to make sure, And then COVID came, so
Mhm.
it was super. We kicked into uh, baby bear
Yes, of
or
course.
daughter bear. Don't go anywhere. Hey, don't go anywhere. Yeah, but um, there was a program she wanted to go to so badly.
Mhm.
So currently, she sent me a message,
Mhm.
which I did not see. So she left, went to that program. She sat in an air conditioned bus with so many people in 2021 when COVID was still a thing.
Yes. Yep.
And she came back with pneumonia.
Mm.
We went, took her to the hospital so many times. But, knowing my mom, I, the last thing on our mind was she was going to die. I mean, that's
It never crossed her mind because she was very strong too, and very, very
yeah,
stubborn.
yeah, yeah. So um, we took her to the hospital. She got admitted on September 8th,
Hmm.
um, and she looked like she was doing okay. Then she's not doing okay. She's doing okay. I mean, death was not even something that crossed
Of
our mind.
course.
So
Hmm.
at one point, I had her on camera, and I saw she was really struggling. She was giving the nurses a lot of hard time. So I decided to go to Ghana. Unfortunately, I was gonna and was bringing my son, my oldest son, along because the two were very close as well.
Hmm.
That morning,
Hmm.
I was woke up around 5 o'clock. Was just getting my stuff ready because we're gonna leave later that
Hmm.
afternoon, and
Hmm.
I saw her private nurse calling me,
Hmm.
and she said he was saying, sorry, so he, um, well, I went to the hospital this morning, and things are not looking very good. They say she's coding, and
Hmm.
I didn't even know what coding meant.
Oh my goodness.
So I pick up the phone and I call my sister and said,
Hmm.
"Well, I'm getting ready to leave. It's saying something about my coding," and she goes, "Coding." I said, "Yeah." They said, "What does coding mean?" Like, Marie, I think we lost mom. I said, "What?
Hmm.
How?
It makes no sense.
How do I? Is this a joke or something?" I just, I just, I just sat on the stairs right where I was sitting talking to her and just dropped. And for days, for days, the part that even hurts the most. And I spoke about my phone ringing for my mom about 7 times a day for 4 years.
Yes.
My dear, imagine. I don't even wish this on my worst enemy. I want you to
Hmm.
understand this.
Hmm.
When your phone goes quiet,
Mm.
when you just want your phone to ring, it was a very painful time.
Yes.
I could not eat,
Mm.
because my goal in life was to make sure my mom was always okay, you know.
Mm.
and this was just too sudden. It was just too
Mhm,
sudden.
mhm, mhm.
It I wish I had some notice. I wish I had some time to say, like, okay, someone is bedridden. No, I did not get that.
Mhm.
And I wanted so much to be with her. And when this happened, it changed. I mean, I lost about 20 pounds, like instantly.
Yeah,
Within days, I
it
was,
makes no sense.
you know,
Yeah,
and uh, it took a while. It took a while.
it's so strange that this is happening whilst we are talking about the phone ringing. I kid you not, my phone is going off. What? I'm doing my best to ignore this, and it's just buzzing. So now I have to take this thing, and I'm like, and just turn it off at this radio. Excuse me, this has never happened. Like never. My goodness.
Yeah,
Just
never
and I
happened.
dropped the phone too, so it's
Yeah,
I'm sorry. It's so
one
strange how this
wonders
just
never
happened.
happened. Yeah. Anyhow,
Grief has a way of taking a big place in your life. Like you said, in a short while, you literally lost 50, 20 pounds.
yeah,
Easy. It took your appetite away. It took words away from you. It turned your world upside down. What
that,
you thought you knew was
that's an understatement. My mom was my world. She 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 made so many sacrifices. Yes,
mm,
um, growing up, you know, in an African home, that's five, not having a son
mhm.
was like, you know, you are flagged hopeless, kind of, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
You
because
don't,
the cultural implication,
yes, you
you
don't
have
have,
to have a
yeah,
boy.
yeah, you must have a boy.
Yes.
And so this woman made sure all her five girls were well educated and she made
Yes.
sacrifices. I mean,
Mm,
she could have thrown in the towel and said, so, I mean, when I became of age, I always, this woman must have a good life no matter what. And,
yes.
uh, she would come and visit us in the U.S. She took care of our children together.
Yes, yes, yes. I remember those days.
Yeah,
Yes.
but and that's really what hit me because you've put in so much effort to try to keep someone alive, and then this happens, and you're like holding a basket filled with water. The water, you can't stop the water from coming out of that basket. It's like, how is this possible? This woman can't die.
Yeah.
We've done everything we're supposed to. This is not supposed to happen.
Yes.
It
It's not.
really shook my world. I mean, I, 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 I kept saying, "Oh, ma, why couldn't you just stay alive for me? Stay alive
Mm,
for me."
because
You
you
know?
kept doing everything you can to sustain her and support her and make sure that her needs were met, her emotional needs were met, her psychological needs are met, and her physical needs and everything, financial, everything,
Yeah.
because you didn't want her to be stressing
No, no.
on
She's done
anything.
a lot for us, and she
Yes,
made sure that anybody who thought, oh, having girls was she shamed everybody, and
yes,
I felt like it was our responsibility to make sure that she had a good life,
yes,
and that's what we strive for.
Mm-hmm.
um, but cold death.
Yes.
You know, what
Like,
even hurt the most, aside from my phone not ringing anymore,
mm-hmm.
I'm saying this woman had all kinds of disease, diabetes, whatnot. None of this killed her.
That's
COVID.
right.
And it took just one outing, and I had no mom anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this is so not right.
It came so suddenly because there was no warning, no, and even that finding out she was ill and in a hospital, you literally hired a private nurse to also keep an eye on her, to
Yeah,
check on her and
yeah,
make sure
yeah,
that,
yeah,
hey, look at something is going on.
yeah,
Let's do something. And then this news comes, it's just what?
yeah, 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 yeah,
And it throws you off.
yeah, yeah. As I said, I just cannot. I would not wish it on my worst enemy. It
Mhm.
is a feeling of doom.
Mhm.
Mhm. And it's like I couldn't function, couldn't go to work, couldn't. I just sat in my bed and looked. I was just there.
It took a lot out of you because she represented a place in your life that no one could take, no one could understand, and no one could even imagine. That level of bond and connection is something that you cannot replace. You cannot try to replicate with anyone.
Mm. Yeah.
And when that rug gets pulled underneath you, it's almost like you come to a place where you're thinking, what's my life now? What's my life about now?
Hmm.
Because you were so focused and dedicated
Yeah.
and intentional to give her what she would need
To
in
live
order to make sure her later life would be
comfortable.
extremely comfortable. Not just comfortable, but extremely comfortable. And we've all been taught that when a person is that comfortable to not worry about anything at all and just live and enjoy life as it is, all should go well.
Hmm.
And then when this tragedy happened, it turned everything like a shift that you didn't even imagine you could ever process. Now your mind completely shifted.
Yep. Yep.
And that shift, how did you manage to say, I'm going to try and get out of bed?
I focused mainly on um, her, how she dealt with things in life,
Mm,
and that's how she raised us. She always will say, when you're given lemons, make lemonade.
yes.
You need to get up. You need to, it got to a point, and I'm thankful to my employers and all the support I got from friends and family. However, the biggest, even though she was not alive, I drew strength from her life and from my grandmother's life. They've
Yes.
been through these two women have been through hell and back, and yet they
Mhm.
always found a way to affirm positive and pick up and mix something out of what, whatever they were holding at the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So she always will say things like, okay, so this has happened. So what do we do? Where do we go from here? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and as hard as it was, and sometimes I will literally have a conversation with myself, Marie, you have to do this, you have to do that. Remember, this is how mom will want you to do this. I could literally
Wow.
getting up and all of a sudden I'm back down on that bed, but I had to push myself to get out of that bed eventually because I had to bury my mom. My siblings and I had to bury my mom. And we needed to look at, you know, at least for me, I had to look at her strength. What she
Yes.
would have done. She would have picked up the pieces. She would have, you know, and I had to take it. It was a day by day thing. It was never, oh, I have
That's
to plan
right.
for the next 5 days. No, there's nothing like that because frankly it wasn't even a day by day thing. If I think about it, 3 hours I'm okay. Fourth hour I'm completely all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I had to slowly find the strength, you know, to
To
find a,
move. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And I think the uh, biggest you know move was to have the strength to bury her,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
which there was a lot of uh, back and forth, family issues and stuff, and so that kind of also gave us some level gave me some level of adrenaline to focus on. I said, Mom, you have a way. You really do have a way of shifting things to make sure that people keep. But yeah, I drew strength from her, drew strength
Mm-hmm.
from my grandmother, and their approach uh,
Mm-hmm.
towards life. My aunt as well.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot have a bad day when you talk to my aunt. She will find a good day out of that bad day for you. So may she also rest in peace. May all of them rest in peace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the, I, I had to pick up.
You had to pick up
Pick up.
because you mentioned the adrenaline
Hmm. Yeah,
kept pumping through you, and you
yeah,
were using that
yes.
as a catalyst to move
Multiple.
and try to do the things, and then recognizing, okay, from this point on, what is my responsibility?
Yes.
We have to make these funeral arrangements. It is difficult because you're getting some oppositions
Hmm.
from the stuff that people, traditional stuff that needs to be carried out. And they said, oh, this needs to be honored, this needs to be honored. And in your mind, whilst you're hearing that, were you thinking, is anyone, I know they're saying this needs to be done, this needs to be done. And this is tradition, this is tradition, this is how it's done. Are they thinking, are the kids all right? Is she okay to do this? Did anyone come and ask you that question?
I wouldn't say that it was completely dry. I can't remember, but I definitely know that people checked on me. I can't remember who, and the whole thing. You don't even realize from start to end. You know,
Mhm.
once I think during the funeral,
Yes.
especially that
Mhm.
period of time, um, we I say we because I'm including my siblings uh,
Yes.
in this. Uh, we were all going zoom 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 zoom, but then when she was actually going to be buried, like the day she was laid to rest, oh no, it we went from not so great to okay to go through the process of planning the funeral to oh Lord, that's it, we're done. Oh, I'm just gonna die today.
Points, yeah. So it's what I'm hearing is
I, it,
autopilot took off, took control. Then the adrenaline started going in, and you kept responding to all that and doing all that. And then say, action mode, things needs to be done. Let's just get to it.
mhm,
Emotional stuff, I don't have time to deal with it right now. I'm just gotta focus. Do what needs to be done. Do what needs to be done. And then the funeral is happening, and you're thinking you're kind of holding it like I could get through this.
mhm, mhm.
Then the burial. Would you say that's when it made the whole thing a reality that this has really happened?
Yeah, yeah. Um, there was another time that that reality hit me during the planning process.
Mm-hmm.
That was when we had to um, order her clothes.
Well, I know in Ghana the tradition is a gown, like a wedding gown.
Yeah, and um, I bought the fabric, delivered the fabric, and then the day the dress was delivered. Oh, stroke,
Mm.
stroke, stroke. I
That would
lost.
take, yeah, that would take your breath.
I lost it. I completely lost it. I completely lost it. I could not believe
That's
it.
hard. That's very, very hard.
I lost it. That was the first time I lost it just before the burial.
Mm.
That was like 3 days. I think it was 3 days prior to the burial.
Yeah.
And then when we actually got to the cemetery, I lost it again. Now, the point I'm trying to make here is
Mm-hmm.
there's nothing like, okay, I'm grieving, it gets better. But there's nothing like, okay, I'm grieving today and I'm okay from now onward. No,
No.
no.
Grief is never linear. It's always
There's
wow.
always that one thing. Even the song. When
Mm.
when I go to mass, and I want people to understand this because you know grief takes time, but you need to make life as normal as possible. And it's
Mm.
okay when, I go to mass and I hear a song play that my mom, or they're singing a song at mass that my mom loves, and
Mhm.
I'm back to square one. It's been for the 2021, so what, almost 4 years, 3 years, right?
3 years.
3 years.
Well,
Yeah.
no, yes,
So,
next.
yeah, October will be 3 years.
Mhm.
And it's just little things, you know.
They
Someone may,
carry the memory.
it will come back again. So grief, especially if you really, really, really have a close bond with someone,
Mm-hmm. Yes.
it gets better, but it is not completely gone. Things will happen. It will come. At least that's what I'm experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
I can say for myself that um, when the bond is really strong, you
Mm-hmm.
will find yourself, you know, every once in a while something happens and you're back to square one. But then I always go back and, I'm typically not the kind of person that want to, um, I don't think people want to. It's just, I feel like I have to do something to her memory rather than, you know, and she always has that positive thing coming at you when you're
Yes.
down, and she
Mm-hmm.
said, no, how about you pray? Well, how about you do something to the honor of that person? She'll say something. I said, what will mom want me to do? What
Mm-hmm.
will
Mm-hmm.
mom? Well, and I always have that satisfaction. There's a saying that love me whilst I'm alive.
Yes, I love that.
Yeah, don't love me when I'm dead and gone because I can't see it.
Yes, right.
And it is important that people, whilst they are living, make sure that, whatever you maintain a good relationship. There are issues,
Right.
solve them, and I felt like, my consolation was always that I had a good relationship with my mom.
Yes. It is
And
such a
no,
blessing.
yeah, and no matter what, I felt like I had done right by my mom.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, I will cry sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but knowing that I had a good relationship with her,
Yes.
and it just made me feel okay.
I love that.
It just made me feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's important that, you know we try to get out of, uh, you know situations that are touchy as quickly as possible,
Mm-hmm.
because, um, and this is therapy for all of us, you know
Yes.
therapy for all of us. We all need to do this. And sometimes it's hard because, some of these situations are very, very difficult, and trying to get over it can be, rough. And my mom, I'm telling you, she's not the easiest person to deal with. So for me to say that I had a good relationship with
She was stubborn, but I
my
love that about her.
mom, you have to know that, yeah, there were so many things that I just had to say, you know what, I'm gonna love you anyway.
Yes, yes. And you mentioned something that I think is very important to reiterate, that love me whilst I'm alive. And too often we see this. A lot of people keep postponing letting their loved ones know they care, letting them know they love them, and taking the time to be present with them and showing them their heart until the person is gone. And then you hear people, I always say, you hear people say these things. I wish I had told them I love them. I wish I was kinder. I wish I spent more time with them. I wish I did this. And it's so strange because we know our time is not guaranteed. That is why we have to do the best that we can to spend that time with them, to show them our heart regardless. And it's so strange how a lot of people have problems being vulnerable
Mhm.
with their hearts. Yes, some people may take advantage of it, but as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, show it regardless, because you're not doing it for them, it's for you. Because a lot of the time when people don't do this and after the person leave, the guilt,
Regret.
yes, the guilt and the regret. And there's,
I
I'm
think.
listening to you, Kimmy. You didn't even say I regret. You didn't even say I guilt. You said we did, and I made sure we. And this is the beauty, that you're already Even though you didn't know what was going to happen, you were saying, I'm just going to do and be there for mom. And it's very powerful. It's a great lesson for all of us to learn this and understand. Show them you love them. Wow.
She rests in perfect peace.
Yes. And it's beautiful.
Yep.
Now, doing this, what was one thing that you recognize that you are most grateful for that you felt she taught you? Maybe one or two.
Being the for the she empowered. She
Mm,
was a big um advocate for women
yes.
and children. And so, me, um my home is literally a daycare.
Yes.
When it comes to kids, I don't play. Let it be an adult issue, but don't let it become a child's issue.
Yes.
Uh, the peace of mind of children is number one, and my mom strived for that, and
Wonderful.
it made me proud. It made me always wanna, one of the things that she I learned from her is to make sure the peace of mind of the child comes first.
Yes.
And then, as a woman, and that was a big thing, um, very big thing for her,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, because she fought her way to being recognized. The trade unions in Ghana
Hmm.
for years were not, they were all male dominated. All the women that were secretaries typing away. She was the first woman
Hmm.
who penetrated and made sure she was part of the executives in Ghana for
It's
the trade
amazing.
union. Yes. So that empowering women, um, it's a big thing for me.
Hmm.
I always want to push folks, and that's my mom. She's always trying to push someone to do better. You can do better. They don't say this is too hard. If it's in this world, you can do it. It's just up here. You can,
Yes.
yeah. And I mean, she is someone, who was destined to fail. She had a child at 16. You know, her mom was a dad was a carpenter. Mom was a market woman selling just food, regular food in the market. So for her to rise to that level,
Yes.
she empowered herself, and she empowered a lot of women along with her.
Yes. She was a
And
trailblazer.
that, yeah, that's the word, trailblazer. And that, I feel it's important. That is the one thing that I will always want to do in her honor, to
Hmm.
make sure that my fellow sister is also always. It makes she, every time I'm able to make an impact in another woman's life,
Yes.
it it makes me very happy that I'm doing something to honor my mom.
Yes. That's so beautiful because her legacy, I mean, there's so many things that could be called her legacy, but this gift of her recognizing that she had to stand for all women, and almost like to her, no woman should be left unchecked, and checked on
Mhm.
to make sure she's got what she needs.
Mhm.
Little did she know that she was teaching you the same thing she was doing as her, I call it her calling. You are watching, and it's so strange that you started doing that with her
Mhm.
to make sure she had everything she needed after retirement. And it's, because when people are doing all these things, they don't think about how this will become that, their thing, or this thing would turn on them. And they would need that someone to be advocating for them, someone to be standing out for them. And you took on, did exactly that. It's a powerful way of how she did that, not telling you. You just watched her and you saw how she was fighting for every woman and standing up for every woman and pushing and making sure they're being treated, well in the community, in the workplace, and fighting for that recognition. And
It's
then
such a
became,
beautiful thing.
yes, and then became, she rose, speaking on women's behalf all over the world.
Mhm.
She touched so many women. She didn't know how her own child would become her, because people have kids, they're like, they have children and they're like, oh, I hope my child does well. I hope my child gets better, get to where every parent wants, at least I know that every parent want their child to do well or do better than them. But it's almost like she groomed you to become her. And you started showing her that. And those of us who know you, we started seeing it all around you and how you respond to everybody. And it's a powerful legacy to pass on to a daughter. And now I could see it going on with your children. And there's nothing greater and no more, I mean, I can't think of any other blessing than this, to see your impact in the world spread this way. It's powerful. And
Well,
as she did these things, one thing I'm recognizing is that she's been a force to reckon with as a female,
oh yeah.
to help. And it's so strange, some of the stuff I was watching, how kings, queens were coming to her to help their community.
Yeah.
I'm blown away because look where she came from.
Oh yeah.
But she never thought of any limitations.
Mm,
She just thought, okay, what needs to be done? I
yeah.
see this. I
Yeah.
see this.
That's
This needs
that.
to be done. That's it.
Yeah, that's her attitude, and that helped me a lot. Through my grief, as I mentioned earlier. Um, you know, it's about, okay, the eggs are broken. So where do we go from here? You know, that's her mindset. You know,
Hmm. Hmm.
um, things need to be done.
And yeah, came up with solutions, 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 solutions.
Yes, yes. Well, I need, her whole life. Okay, I need to have be in this position. How do I get to this position? Take this class, take that class. Uh, this no, is there a class? I'll take it.
And she was willing to learn every time.
Yeah.
She never
I,
closed herself off from learning.
she visited us here a couple of years. I think she had just retired. She came here. She's like, so she's a retired person. You're spending time with your grandchildren. She was doing that. I have to say that. But she's like, oh, could you sign me up for a conflict resolution class? And Ma, you're retired. Like,
Amazing.
this is like, oh, what knowledge is forever. You can continue to learn. And I didn't even realize the impact she had in in the lives of others. I mean, when she passed away, I started reading a lot. You know, go online, googling, trying to find, and some of her white papers are in some of the schools in the U.S. I was shocked. I was like, "Whoa!"
Yes.
Yeah,
Made an
she
impact.
wrote a lot on labor, you know, and unions, and I was actually quite impressed. I'm like, this is the carpenter's daughter, who
Yes.
had a child at age 16. Was supposed to,
Yes.
yeah. So she had forcefulness, and she's very ambitious. She just like, no, I'm not gonna let this pull me down. And
Mm-hmm.
that spirit, learning that from her helped me to, navigate grief, a lot better. And also
Mm-hmm.
knowing that, and I can't stress this enough, grief
Excuse me.
gets better when you know you have lived, or let me just put it this way, you have maintained a good relationship with someone. You've done everything
Yes.
that you could have done,
Yes.
and you love the person, you took care of the person, you were
Mm-hmm.
kind to the person.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it feels a little lighter.
Yes.
Slowly it gets lighter because you tell yourself,
Yes.
yeah, I think, and knowing the person was truly happy
Yes.
with you, with the
Mm-hmm.
relationship that you had with
Yes.
it's worth a million.
Yeah. And that's healing of itself too.
Yes, yes, and it's very important. I can't stress that enough. I can't stress it enough. Love me whilst I'm alive.
Yes.
Love me whilst I'm alive. Show me.
Yes.
None of us are perfect. We're gonna screw up. We're gonna hurt someone. Somebody
Yeah.
hurt us. But try really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because when that person is gone, and it doesn't matter whether it's a parent or friend or things that are pending
Mm-hmm.
will, will kill you. Those are the things that will kill you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So um, let's just be kind to each other.
I love that. Kindness is such a powerful thing because it gives us a way of taking time for ourselves to have peace in the future. Because if we are not kind today, the strangest thing is in the future, we see the not so kind things that we've done show up and teach us a better lesson in the future. That's why when we are kind, and it's such a powerful thing, kindness is peace, kindness is joy. Because the strange thing is when you're kind, it just keeps bringing more and more to you. And if you're not kind, it'll keep bringing more and more of the chaos and the pain and the stuff to you. And you learn that, that level of kindness and joy in just being present and loving whilst the person is here and showing them that. It's also a way of seeing that that person has given you a peaceful place to actually grieve and still remember the kindness.
Yeah,
And
that
how wonderful is this? How did you start learning and start recognizing yourself that, wow, I actually, I'm actually pulling through more than I could ever imagine.
Well, first of all, I started gaining weight.
Well, something's gotta give.
That was a plus.
It was an indication that you're moving
Yeah,
in the right
yeah,
direction.
in the right direction. Bad, but right direction.
Yes.
Yeah, and being able to go to work and uh, you know, handling things. Yeah, it gets better. It gets better. Definitely, the weight was the first signal that I saw that I'm doing a lot better than.
Mhm.
Yeah, because it was downhill before, and then it started picking up. I started to put some food in my mouth and stuff like that. So yeah, and then knowing that you're doing things that um, uh, will make her proud.
Mhm. Yes.
Also, um, you know,
I
at the
think that's
back of your
beautiful.
mind, at the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, I'm sure mom will be proud of us. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And,
I think that's very important to remember. Things that you know will make her proud, and every time you do it, you're literally feeling like she's tapping you, like, there, you did it. Good. Yeah, I'm proud of you for this one because you're
yeah.
actually walking the walk that you would
Mhm. Yeah.
see her do.
Hmm. If you think about it, um, you know, what if to be able to do the things like this, you need to recognize that what did the person do well. You have to look at what they did whilst they were
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
How you know she. I always say she does things, uh, you know, so that others can have a good life. And if
Mm-hmm.
you think about it, I have not seen a real angel before. Okay. We, as human beings,
Yes.
are the angels that God has put on this earth. We just
Yes.
need to see it, and we just need to, and we do things, we just do it because we do it. We're doing it, but we don't realize we're being angels to other people. And if you read a lot of her tributes and stuff that were written about her, I felt like she was literally an angel to a lot of people because
Yes.
where people could not find the strength to do things, she went out there and spoke on their behalf. She will match the market. She didn't care. If she had the one person standing at Parliament with a sign, you know, defending women, trying to make sure a woman's rights, a bill is passed. She will be standing there with her sign by herself in Parliament.
Determined.
Why does she do all that? Because she's not thinking of just herself. She's thinking
Mhm.
about her community. And I
Yes.
believe that if we start thinking about more than ourselves, we are
Mm-hmm.
literally being angels in other people's lives.
Yes.
And
Yes.
um, that's a legacy that I want to see go for years. For
Yes.
my
Yes.
children to learn uh,
Mm-hmm.
to make a difference in other people's life. That's what my grandma did.
Mm-hmm.
And never fails. My grandma, my grandma was the same way. She would walk around and pick up people on the street and bring them home, give them food, things like that. And my mom picked it up and did it on the, national scale.
Yes. I love it. And I'm so proud of you because you found a way to start living, not just living again, but also zero in on the stuff that you appreciate and then love and remember those things. And it's amazing because those good things she did has given you a chance to see where you can go
Yep.
and how far you can go. And then recognizing there isn't a limit, but she's just someone who gave out of her heart and fought for what she believes in. And without thinking of anything else, she just said, I need to do this. This person needs my voice, and I'm going to lend them my voice. And that voice carried out
Hmm.
and
It became
spread.
a healing thing, you know,
Yes, you know,
healing resource for them.
amazing.
Hmm.
That healing thing, and strange enough, that healing thing became a healing for you
Yep. Yep.
from the shock to the devastation and the confusion. Then you come to this place, it's like, oh, I remember what she does. This is what she does. She would have done this. She would have said this. Oh, now I've done this. Oh, she would have been very happy. Amazing to come to this place and see joy again
Oh yeah.
and take pride in her healing lessons and her healing life and things that she did, and to take that and spread it yourself and with your siblings. They're also doing the same. And I think it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's a testament to the life she lived here.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you one last question.
So,
Knowing what you know now, if you had to give advice, a wisdom, or a lesson to your younger self, what would that be?
younger self. I would. I think. Um, I would handle. I would tell my younger self
Mm-hmm.
to always do right by self. Those times where I would hold grudges for
Mm-hmm.
years, and I am so thankful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and some of these things you just kind of have to separate yourself from people that are clearly not good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But in your heart, just forgive them and let them go. And know that you are not perfect yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You may have offended somebody.
Yes.
So, yes. And also, you know, that is one of the things that I have, I'm still working on it.
Of course. Life.
So my younger self would be told, please don't hold grudges,
Mm-hmm.
because grudges is what will prevent you from having good relationship
Mm-hmm.
with someone that you truly care about. And maybe today I will be sitting here still in tears, crying
Mm-hmm.
because I did not let go, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And frankly, I had to learn that through something else. But, I realized forgiveness is not for
Yes.
that person, it's for you, for your peace of mind. If you
Yes.
can't do it, it just drags you down. And if you know my mom, and I know you know my mom, she
Yes.
throw something at you and you're gonna spend 3 days, 4 days wondering, Lord, how did that come out?
Because she's brilliant.
And
She'll get you
if
thinking.
you don't hold this against her, then I would have never maintained that had that relationship with her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Mhm.
Thank you so much because this was very powerful. Forgiveness is important to let go of the grudge because it is what will weigh you down and weigh
Mhm.
us down. And yes, to the younger selves and those of you who are listening who are in your young days or time and you think you've got it all figured out and you hold a grudge, understand this. That grudge is actually poison to your body
Mhm.
and to you. And it doesn't get the person that hurt you or did things to you, it doesn't get them off the hook. It's not about that. They will
So,
still be on the hook. Life will take care of that. But you need to take care of you and to let go. Forgiveness and let go. And then so you can see the joy in the presence and just love and be kind. Thank you so much. Hopefully someday you'll come back again and tell us more
love
wisdom
to, love
and
to.
share with us because I look forward to that. I appreciate what you imparted on to my guests and everyone who was listening. And I hope this was helpful for someone and is healing for someone who is going through a difficult time, dealing with their grief and trying to navigate what to do with this. Everybody's here to learn from one another. We are here to write our story. And through that, we get to become something more than what we think we could become. And it shows in her mother's life. And I'm impressed. It's just beautiful. Powerful. I love it. Now, one thing for sure, anyone who wants to contact me, you may contact me at love, LUV, um, the number four, live, LIVE, sorry, LUV, the number four, give, GIVE, live, LIVE at gmail.com. Love, forgive, live at gmail.com. My name is Rhoda. Thank you for joining us. And of course, we will be back next week. I appreciate you all and